of a tanking, not just in the currency, but of course equities as well, which brings us to the local market. Wayne McCurrie is from FNB Wealth and Investments. Wayne, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. I mean, look, we're in record low territory at the cusp of where we were at previous lows with the rand against the US dollar. I mean, how bad really is this? I mean, because it's got people talking that this rand took us a turn for the worse today. What's the context here?
Look, up until 1820, 1830 and that, it was just a downturn in the commodity cycle compounded by the load shedding and all of the negative factors we know about South Africa. But this new arms supply to Russia story has really pushed the rand out to these levels. And when you get a situation like this, you just do not know where it's going to stop. Because to alienate by far the biggest economies in the world and by far the biggest wealth, storage of wealth in the world, by doing something like this, if it is true, will be catastrophic for the country.
And when it puts us in a fix here, because very often when I talk to you about the rand against the dollar, you tell me, hang on, you will get an uptick because commodities will return, interest rates will stabilize internationally. But when it comes to this geopolitical event, it's another story altogether, isn't it?
It is another story. I mean, we've faced plenty of challenges in South Africa before, but I don't think we've ever faced a challenge like this. Supplying arms to Russia is actually something we've never faced before because we've never really got terribly involved in geopolitical issues worldwide. And we've always been seen as quite favorable when it comes to geopolitics in the world. This is definitively a turn for the worst. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot of water that's got to flow under this bridge. There's still a lot of information that's got to come out. But this is truly a crisis of immense proportions, to be honest.
All right, let's talk about implications. I mean, we've got the markets here and we've got the consumer. Let's start with the markets. Naturally, when the rand takes a beating, you're going to see those banking stocks lose steam, and they did today. Did you see this play out in the market, what happened with the rand today as far as stocks are concerned?
Clearly. Yeah. I mean, the moment this news broke, the SA shares just took a beating. It's quite normal in a weaker rand environment that the SA-orientated shares, and let's just talk the banks because they're the biggest sector on our market that is directly correlated to South Africa, they would normally weaken and the rand shares would go up. But then that would be a normal phenomenon. You know, you do get commodity down cycles. You've seen a tremendous fall in the price of commodities, and we are a commodity exporter. And as you correctly said, normally you would expect that would recover over the next 2 or 3 years as the world economy recovers, as inflation falls and as interest rates falls. But when you get a situation like this, it adds a completely new dimension. You could even say, until this is resolved, the rules don't apply anymore, quite frankly. Anything could happen until this is resolved.
You would want to wonder how a Russian ship is connected to your home loan, but I guess they are in many ways, because now we've got a problem. We've got the rand weak, we've got inflation's probably staying stubbornly high. The Reserve Bank goes, well, hang on, we can't start cutting interest rates immediately. As a matter of fact, many are saying we might see another hike. So these are all intertwined, aren't they?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's quite likely now that the US is at the top of interest rate cycle and the next move is down. And you would automatically assume that we would be in the same position, in that we are probably at the end of our interest rate hiking cycle and the next move is down. But given the situation, given what the rand could potentially do, because we genuinely are in uncharted territory here. I mean, you know, the last time we faced something like this was all the sanctions imposed on us during the apartheid years. And in a response to that, we had to introduce 2 currencies to try to stop the rout in the rand. So you just don't know exactly what is going to happen here. The rand, until this is resolved, could quite frankly do anything because it's trading on very small volume. Everyone is selling. Everyone wants out of the rand and out of South African assets. So in the new South Africa, this is truly the biggest international crisis we've seen.
Well, I just want to end off, and as I let you go, Wayne, I mean, is there any type of solace or silver lining in the fact that what we can possibly do with this weaker rand now is try and work on our tourism, work on our exports, to save something here. We've just had this travel indaba happening in KZN this week.
Yeah.
Is there something we can get out of this?
You know, up until what's happened now, I was extremely positive about tourists coming to South Africa, because you can come here and have a fantastic holiday. But if this Russian thing progresses, our big sources of tourists is not China, and it's not Russia, and it's not India. It's actually America, UK, and Europe. Those are our big sources of tourists into the country.
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave it there. Well, thanks very much indeed for that insight. Wayne McCurrie is from FNB Wealth and Investments. All right, let's wrap up by looking at the real numbers now. Here's a look at the indicators on the local market.